Hey, what's up everyone, it's Riley West from Blue Sky Media. In today's video, we're going to be going over my checklist for homeowners to get things done before the real estate photographer goes out and gets the photos done. Before we get into it, I just want to say that this is just my personal opinion. This is by no means something that you need to do and you have to do if you want to sell your house. I've just been asked tons of times being a real estate photographer, hey, what do you look for when you're going into a house? Do you like this? Do you like that? So this is just a list compiled of all those things, and let's go ahead and get into it. Number one is staging. So whether you're professionally staging it or just staging it with the homeowner's current things, either way is fine. You know, the whole idea about staging is just so that you can put the furniture in the room so that it looks like a certain way. So when people looking at the photos or the video or the Matterport tour, they can start to envision what it would look like for them to move into that house. Number two is just to make sure that you vacuum the carpets, clean the hardwood floors, and also clean the windows and any kind of mirrors that are inside the house. These are just little things, not necessarily too much on the floors, but definitely with the windows. Lots of real estate photographers do these things called window pulls so that we really bring out the window well so that you can see through into outside. It's just a good idea to have the windows cleaned, and especially with the mirrors for the bathrooms. You know, lots of times, especially if you're brushing your teeth, you might get some toothpaste on there. You know, just go in there, get some Windex, and clean it all off. Next up, and I am guilty of this, is to clean the tops of the fans and the tops of your blinds. Lots of times, especially with the blinds, people may not bring them all the way up, they just kind of tilt them open. So, you know, dust collects there. Same thing with the fans, the dust will start collecting there. It's something that you don't typically will see unless it really builds up a whole bunch. But if you can think of it, just dust the tops of your blinds and the tops of your ceiling fans. Next up, let's go outside for a little bit, sweep off the patio, the deck, and the driveway. I know right now I'm filming this and it's fall, so leaves are all over the place. A little bit of leaves here and there, I think actually adds a nice little touch to the scenery of the exterior of the house and makes it feel obviously like fall. It gives it a little bit more character. So don't go too crazy where it's like if you see one leaf in the yard, you got to pick it up. But you know, just be mindful that you should sweep off those areas. Staying outside, it's a good idea to cut your grass, trim your bushes, do anything that's going to make your curb appeal A+. And then also with the cars in the driveway. Typically, when I show up to a listing, if the cars are out of the driveway, the front exterior of the house, that main photo is the first thing I want to do, because I don't know, you know, if someone's going to be coming back to the house later on or something like that. It's just a good idea to get it done first. If for some reason the cars are in the driveway while I get there, or once I get there, I typically try to do that last, just so that I can, you know, meet the homeowners and say, hey, would you guys mind moving the cars into the driveway? It will take 2 minutes just so that I can get a couple exterior front photos of the house. Back inside, let's go to the kitchen. One of the most important pieces of your listing and the photos and the content is your kitchen. So make sure that the countertops, the stovetops are clean. There's no dishes. Make sure if you can, take the dishes from the sink and, you know, put them away. Make sure there's no food out. Again, you don't have to go too crazy with polishing the countertops or anything like that, but you know, just running a wet paper towel and then drying it back up is certainly enough, but just make sure that they look great. Another thing that you always see in a kitchen, and everyone has it, is a trash can. Typically, we don't want trash cans in the photo, same thing for anything outside, but if you can, for the ones that are inside the kitchen, pick them up, maybe put them into the garage. Typically, if I see one, I will just pick it up and move it into another room once I'm done with that room so that I can get the kitchen done, and then I'll move it back right after that. But if you can think of it, move your trash can. Next up, and this is a big one if you have kids, is if you can, I know that they have a lot of these, but toys. Lots of times I see homeowners that just designate one room to putting all their stuff. If you can, I know kids have a whole bunch of toys, is try to just put those toys maybe all in one room, and then once I'm done with the rest of the house, we can move the toys out and then capture that one room that had all the toys in, and then we can put them right back in. Again, I know it's a lot to ask for because kids have a lot of toys, but again, just something to be mindful of. Along with kids' toys, if you have pets toys, the food bowls, the water bowls, if you can, again, I know that they also might be running around during the listing, that's completely fine. But if you can pick up those, maybe put them into the garage, just put them out of sight. We can move them if we have to then move them out of a room to capture that room. But again, if you could put everything into one room, that actually works out pretty well. Next up, and this is just me being incredibly picky, and again, this is my honest opinion here, is light bulbs. Lots of times you see, and I'm guilty myself, is that you have different colored light bulbs. You know, white or yellow are typically the two ones that I see a lot. If you can, try to make sure at least that all the rooms have the same ones. It might not have to be for the whole entire house, but you know, if the living room has all white light bulbs, try to keep them all white. It's something, again, that you're not going to see and tell too much in the photos, but you know, definitely something to be mindful of. Next up is family photos and personal items. I know most of the time the homeowners are still living in the listing, so they're going to have all their personal things all around the house. So I understand about having photos here and there, but again, if it's something that it's not too big of a pain to have to take down and, you know, put into a drawer somewhere, that's okay. But if you can. Next up is something that's going to help out the real estate photographer and to get them in and out of your house quicker, and that's to go out through the whole entire house, open up all the blinds, and turn on all the lights. This is something that we'll do anyways, but if you're interested in getting us in and out of your house as quickly as possible, maybe you got something going on during the rest of the day, is to do those things. And you know, not all the time do we use all the lights, and we'll turn those off if we don't need them. But typically we're going to use most of the lights, especially if it's a cloudy day. We're going to want as much light into that room. Again, a realtor has always told me this: more light into the room equals a bigger room equals more money for you. Next up, let's talk about bathrooms. I already mentioned about cleaning all the mirrors. This definitely goes for your master bathroom and the other bathrooms that are upstairs. Again, lots of times toothpaste gets on it and stuff like that. If you can, clean those mirrors. And then also, I would recommend getting rid of the toothbrushes, toothpastes, combs, robes, shower supplies, shampoo, conditioner. Just get that all out, because lots of times people will just put them into the tub, which is completely fine. You can just draw the curtain and that's okay. But sometimes if it's, say, a newer tub where you have a new kind of, you know, insulation in there, that will want to draw the curtain, and then you don't want to have to see those things in there. So if you can, just put it underneath the vanity itself. Again, I know, especially if you have kids, this is a lot to do, but it's just something to, you know, keep in mind. Keeping on the same subject as bathrooms, if you can, clean the toilets, the bathtub, the countertops, the vanity tops that are inside the bathroom, and then also if you have a walk-in shower, the glass that's in there as well. Alright, so that's my complete list. I have a couple of things in here that I would suggest, if you would think of it and you would like to do this, to maybe add to your listing before the photographer gets there. The first couple things are a hand towel or towels or bars of soap, not the plastic things, but the bars of soap. So this is going to add a little bit of color to your bathrooms. You can, you know, by all means use your own personal towels. Just make sure that it doesn't look like you just used them, you know, nicely folded over the towel rack. And then the bars of soap, I recommend that just because, and again, hopefully make sure that they're not used, like a nice fresh bar of soap. I just recommend that over the plastic just because, again, personal opinion, I think it just looks a little bit nicer. Next up, you could add generic paintings to your wall or any kind of colorful throw pillows or blankets in your living room. Again, this is just going to kind of spruce up, add a little bit more color to the room itself and make it a little bit more homey. Last up is to add any kind of real or fake flowers, maybe to the coffee table, also with some maybe magazines or books on the coffee table as well. And if you have any kind of welcome home signage that you can find just out in the store somewhere, I noticed it's pretty popular nowadays to have it right in front of, it's like a vertical piece of wood right in front of your front door that just says welcome. Something like that, if you want to go crazy with it. Those are just a couple options that, are, again, completely optional in my opinion, of some things that you could potentially add. So that is our home prep checklist for the photos and other real estate content for your listing. Again, this is just our personal opinion. You know, things vary, and by all means, if you have additional things that you thought of, please leave that in the comments below. I would love to add it to this list. If you would like access to this list, please just reach out to me. I can send you a PDF file of it. So that wraps up today's video. If you have any other questions or comments, please leave them below, and I'll see you in the next video.